what I'd like to talk about a little bit today is keeping your knees bent. Okay?
Not that I ever have a problem.
Everybody does. Everybody does. And even just in my normal classes, giving the lessons or whatever, okay? I know I don't do it. Okay? I know I don't do it. I keep my knees bent. Okay? But when you start doing it at a faster pace, more realistic pace, okay, I know I'm doing it. But you have to practice that. Okay? So in other words, the first reaction, in other words, I'm going to throw two to you, your first reaction should be to get your hands up and ready, right? And bend your knees. Right? So, in other words, as the distance closes, right? As the distance closes, okay, your hand starts to come up, okay? And when you know I'm in striking range or about to strike, you have to react with your knees as well as with your hands, right? So, good. That's what you have to do, right? And that gives you the mobility and the balance, okay, to follow through.
Anyway, I don't know if you were there or not, but Juan was showing, like, it was just an exercise that if you were throwing to me here, it was simply to just kind of, if you were throwing quick, was just to absorb by maybe a little step back, just to absorb it and control it, moving around like that. It was getting like a sensitivity drill is what it was.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Instead of rotating to the side and
right. redirecting
it, it was trying to absorb it.
Yeah.
Similar to catching a ball.
Right.
Just a little bit of motion.
Right.
I use that sometimes with my guys to show when you're doing this that you're still using some degree of that sensitivity as well as dropping the weight and everything else behind it. But instead of just hard, it's kind of like a soft, hard thing. I mean, it's using that same idea of trying to feel it and use it at the same time.
I think, for the most part, that is fairly natural, right? In other words, when something comes on you very quickly, right? If something comes on you very quickly and by surprise, you would naturally flinch.
That was one point I was going to write down. That you talk about how it comes at the head, and people are going to move their head. So you didn't have to teach moving the head so much.
Right.
But I find at your class, at my class, the head, even when they're doing the rotation and stuff, the head isn't moving first. Juan, like just a couple weeks ago, Juan threw a punch and move your head. I'm not moving my head. Everybody is not. So I'm not sure if that's true, because you get so programmed to rotate and the head's staying right there.
Because most of the punches aren't surprises. During the class, most of the punches aren't surprises. Okay? If you observe, if you watch closely, okay, and it becomes this, you'll see them do that, okay, right? Because the punch comes too close and it surprised them. Okay? But ordinarily, most of the punches aren't surprises. You know they're coming, so you don't flinch. Okay?
So if you saw me here and I came at you and I'm a dumb guy and I'm coming at you, you wouldn't move your head very much because you know there's no problem, right? Because you were all ready. And you saw me advertise, whatever the word is, before I come, and you wouldn't be so concerned about moving the head too much.
No.
Because it's too obvious.
Right. Okay. I would be concerned about getting my hands up and ready.
Okay, that's a little different angle than what I was.
Right. There's a few things that one emphasizes that I don't like to more or less teach or reinforce. Right? Because like this one, in other words, you're making the little subtle movements or making the flinches or whatever you want to call them. I think that's a natural, something that's natural. It's an involuntary reaction. It's like your eyelid. Okay? It's voluntary and it's involuntary. Okay? And if you think you're going to get hurt, or if you think you're going to get hit, you will involuntarily react.
But I found that using this with some people, it lets them understand this. They get a better feel for doing doing this one in terms of the contact that's being made here. Instead of, it helps them to relax instead of being so stiff here. They relax here a little more. I mean, it seemed to be a useful drill so that they can apply it to what we want to do.
It may be, but I don't like to teach it. I would rather teach you to be more ready. Right? Yeah. More ready, like right? More ready in having the hand up higher. Right? If watch the class and watch the reaction. What is the reaction normally that you see? They're reaching out to here to make a cross block, not reaching up to here. Right? Okay. So the distance my hand travels is going to be the same. Right? The distance my hand travels, right? Here to here. Okay. Here to here. Okay? In other words, it's more effective. The distance that it has to travel in the area that it has to travel to, okay, is going to be in a more effective area. Instead of doing this, right, I'm doing this, right? And I'm starting closer to the object, right? I'm starting closer to the object and not starting far away from it, right? Okay? That's what happens. That's why they do, right? And you see them, they end up pushing it that way because it's uncomfortable for them. Okay? But if it's not uncomfortable, right? Because okay? But the distance my hand travels is the same. From here to here, or from here to here. It's the same. Approximately the same distance.